Hey, good morning, everyone. Good morning to you, wherever you're at in the Sierra Nevada today. Charlie Pankey, your host here at Sierra Rec Now. Hope you're having a wonderful Tuesday afternoon, wherever you're at. Hopefully, you're out at skiing and are enjoying the mountains in the Sierra. But if you're like me and you're in your home office or you're at work this week, this episode's for you. We thank you for joining along and being part of our journey here this week. We are going to break down several things here today in our episode, and we're excited to be here with you. Got out, did some snowshoeing this weekend in the Sierra. It was beautiful out there. Super excited about what we saw from snow, especially on Saturday. We got a Saturday morning here in the Carson Valley and headed up as a group to Alpine County, which is about 20 minutes from my home, into the Hope Valley area. And it was snowing up there, and the roads were covered, and we got out and made our trail. There was no real trails to follow, so we just kind of broke through the snow and made our own trail through the trees, which was gorgeous. And so we started off our weekend that way, with a fantastic way to get out and enjoy the environment here today. If you're new with us on our podcast, we're doing both a video and a traditional podcast here on the recording. So if you want to see the recording, will be up on our YouTube channel here afterwards, but and in our Spotify channel. If you're joining the podcast, we do welcome you here to the channel. Just to kind of give you again format. This is only our third week here of our content plan for 2024. Sierra Rec Magazine is our home base. I'm the publisher of Sierra Rec Magazine for the last 10 years. This is our 10th year in business, promoting the Sierra and telling stories about trails and what's going on for events around the Sierra. On our podcast, traditionally what you're going to see my thoughts and feelings on what's going on in Sierra this week. For example, we'll break down some trails and backpacking trips that I've done or am planning to do. Let you know news and updates as far as what you need to know for the Forest Service lands or national parks, if there's anything breaking going on there. And then we'll always at the end of the episode with some of our favorites. Today we're going to be talking a lot about snowshoeing. So we'll break down some of my favorite places in Hope Valley, where to park, where to go, etc. Especially if you have family that you want to take out snowshoeing or cross-country skiing. This will be the episode for you. So we welcome you, and we hope you're having a great day no matter what you're doing. Don't know if you're listening to the podcast in your car or watching this video online, but thank you for joining us. We're glad to have you here. So big news for the week in our region was the avalanche at Palisades, Tahoe, right? So KT22 opened up, and unfortunately, within hours of its first chairlift going up the mountain, Palisades Tahoe experienced a massive avalanche inbounds. So it wasn't out of bounds; it was a skier created inbounds, and unfortunately, one death, 66-year-old Kenneth Kidd out of Truckee, and I think Point Reyes, Truckee and Point Reyes. So he had a second home, Truckee. Did pass, unfortunately, in the event. There were several others at broken legs, and a couple people got buried and were rescued in the avalanche. Very scary to be inbounds. Usually hear about them out of bounds, right? Usually hear them skiers out of bounds and break territory and break loose, because the ski resorts do such a great job of avalanche control within their basins usually. And again, this podcast I'm not going to break down details of any fault or anything. I think my call out is, and I said this last week, is that the ski community in the Sierra, especially around the mountains, is such a positive and caring community with each other. So I can only imagine the pain they're feeling as a community that did lose a skier in his event. And, it was not funny, but interesting is they actually had a second avalanche at Palisades 2 days later. So no one's hurt in that one, but obviously talks about the instability in the mountain range for the snow that we have received. And we are well below our averages in Sierra right now. So, snow conditions are, to the point where everybody wants to get out and go play, but caution does need to be, thought of before we go out, especially if you're going backcountry, right? So, our hearts go out to Palisades. They've been good friends of ours since we started. We love sharing their news and their events that go to Palisades, all the changes they've had over the years. So that's a hard thing to take in. And then we talked about this last week, but the gondola at Heavenly broke, and so they're just getting that back online. So they did get that working, as far as I know, again now, at least from a beta standpoint, where they've tested it out. So lots going on in ski resorts, and I've heard, again, besides crowds, I've heard nothing but great reports from the mountains. People are loving skiing. On Saturday, we got another 4 to 10 inches of snow, depending on where you're in the Sierra. We were in Hope Valley. It was snowing, really quite a nice snowfall as we were snowshoeing through Hope Valley. It covered a little bit of our tracks, out for an hour, so that kind of depth there. And I was really happy with the snow conditions of snowshoeing. Right, I was going, well, I wasn't sure there was gonna be enough, especially if you're just coming up to Hope Valley. It's like barely covering the bushes, it seems like, in some places. But as you hit the flats and saw where the snow had fallen right by the river there, there was definitely plenty of snow to snowshoe through. So we got to enjoy a day there. So yeah, it's unfortunate what happened at Palisades. We think most skiers go to ski resorts if they experience the crowds and all the luxuries of a resort, and so they kind of expect that danger from that standpoint is greatly diminished. But it is part of our sport. It's part of being in the mountains in the winter is those dangers. So again, our prayers out for Kenneth Kidd's family and the crews at Palisades and the skiers there. We know that community is a tight knit group, so we're sure there's a lot of pain there. So as we move forward here into the next coming, events and stuff. Matter of fact, remember in Palisades coming up, we have the Stifle. I might say that wrong. Stifle World Cup. I'm pretty sure I just butchered that. The Stifle World Cup here in February, so that'll be coming up as an event to watch out for. And that's kind of my updates on skiing. The other thing that happened in the ski world this week is another unfortunate, is a result of lack of snow, is they had to cancel the Johnsonville longboard ski races up in Gray Eagle. That happened. These are, you never heard of longboard ski races? You can take a look online. You can go to PlymouthCounty.org. I know they have a link there, but they're doing these massive long, 10-foot skis. These basically 2x4s, if you will. They go down the mountains and they have a little rudder they steer with. Every third Sunday in the winter ski season, so in January, February, March. I don't know if they do it. They do the longboard races, and it's a big, fun crowd. If you've ever been up there, Johnsonville historic state parks down below, and then the ski resort, which no longer is an active ski resort. So, there's a big, huge parking lot there. They graded out, and then you can walk up to the ski area. There's a nice ski hut up there. It's a really, really cool thing. Again, and if you're joining me on the video podcast, I really do need to work on how do I get a photo on here so I can show you some of my photos. So I need to do some practice on that. So I do apologize. You're just stuck with my face today. But there is a way for me to do that. So I will, I'll figure that out and bring you some slides or video formats in future episodes. And so stick with me on that. I appreciate it. So, but again, if you haven't done the longboard races, check those out. Should be a great thing. And then the last breaking news I'll talk about before I break into some of my favorite stuff here. We got an email in from the 775 off-road group in Nevada here on Friday. It was really cool to be able to break a press release that they rescued a family out of Stampede Reservoir. A family of four had gone in their 4x4 out to Stampede Reservoir in the snow. Apparently got stuck of some sort, or around a gas. I'm not sure. But the 775 group which is a nonprofit, volunteer-based rescue 4x4 group based here out of Reno and the northern Nevada area. They got the call from the sheriff's department and were able to get one of their volunteers loaded up with gas. They lowered their tire pressures down so they could kind of float on top of the snow better. Drove out to Stampede Reservoir. Unfortunately, couldn't find the family at first. But drove around the network of roads and didn't find the family, and were able to get them out safely. The family did spend the night in the woods out there all by themselves. So just a reminder, everybody, as we like to get out on these roads and keep outdoors, stay within your limits, stay within the Forest Service boundary rules and regulations. I don't know if Stampede Reservoir, if that road is actually open right now. Many National Forest Service roads actually do close during the winter, which means they don't I don't know if allow is a good word. They don't definitely don't recommend that we be on these roads. They close them down for so that we don't destroy them also, right? So vehicles on dirt roads, for example, in wintertime just make huge mud ruts, which means more repairs have to be done in summertime. We just don't have staff for it anymore. So they close a lot of roads down in the wintertime. Again, I'm not saying that's the case up here at Stampede Reservoir. Maybe it's open all winter long, and they just got stuck. I'm not certain on that. So but it does bring up the fact, like we were just up yesterday. So MLK Day, what we did is we went up. Me and my buddy went up to Red Lake off Highway 88, Forest Hill Divide Road, very popular snowmobile area, cross country skiing, backcountry skiers back there. They come up behind Elephant Back in the Makalumi Wilderness there, Winnemucca Lake. So that road right there, I stopped at the road sign that the Forest Service has up and grabbed a map and was looking at it. And I was reading the details. What really caught my attention was it actually says that road specifically is only open until the Blue Lakes Highway Road has enough snow for snowmobilers over there, and they're supposed to close that road. I've never, ever seen that road closed to snowmobilers. It was really kind of interesting to see a sign go up because that's always been like a snowmobile's favorite area, for OHV terrain. So I don't know if that's new. I need to probably check with the Forest Service on that, but it did say it on the sign. So I don't know if it's enforceable. That's the other thing about some of these rules is that I don't really know how enforceable are, but if they say it's closed, eventually they want you down a Blue Lakes Highway and you're out there and they catch you, then that's where fines come in, right? So, again, wish I could give you a little more news on that, but it was a very interesting read to go. It literally said it's open until Blue Lakes Highway is ready to go, which looks like it is right now, and then they will close that road down. So, pay attention to your signs. Make sure they don't put sign up there and you're doing something you're not supposed to, obviously. But it's a beautiful area back there. If you've never been back on the Forest Hill Divide Road, just as you're coming up 88 before you climb Carson Pass over Red Lake into the Caples region on the top of Carson Pass there's a road. There's a parking area. It's a really nice parking area right next to Red Lake. People going in there and they ice fish in the winter and snowshoe all around there, cross country ski. There's a couple different routes people take. Yesterday, we just followed the road with the snowmobilers because there's a meadow back, I don't know, about a mile back in there that I've taken dogs to before, so it's really pretty. Thought it'd be cool to snowshoe in. So we followed the road back and, got off the road a couple times in the deep powder with a dog and just we're enjoying ourselves. And it's such a beautiful road in the fall. Like there's lots of aspens in there, so there's a lot of fall colors. So it's a great fall drive back in there. The road itself goes back several miles, and then it hits a pass that goes over the Blue Lakes Highway or the Blue Lakes. That road, once you hit that section, is really kind of a Jeep road. It's really not made for like your Subaru. That's probably not a good. You probably get your Subarus there, but you probably should turn around before you go up and over. Really is pretty much a Jeep road from there. See lots of backcountry skiers back there in the springtime, snowboarding on some of the peaks and stuff. It's kind of a late season gym, if you will. And then summertime, there's lots of camping back in that area too. So it's one of those areas that there is some private property back there, so you got to know where you're going. But it's one of those dispersed camping areas that people tend to flock to. But I really like the Forest Divide Road. It's kind of a nice, quiet walk. It's got these great pictures of the peaks around Alpine County in different spots. So it's got plenty of terrain features that make snowshoeing and cross country skiing back there terrific. If you don't mind the snowmobile noise, right? So the one thing we hear about in the Sierra time is you were trying to split the snowmobilers aside because of the noise of their machines, right? I'm not a person that bugs. I kind of enjoy having them out there. I think it's fun that they're doing, but I might be in the minority there too. So, and maybe that's why they closed the road after Blue Lakes Highway is open, so that this is more of a cross-country skier zone. I'm not certain. So, but I did find it interesting. I'm not a big fan of things like that. I really wish they'd just say these zones are always the zones. Build good parking structures and maintenance. Get some volunteers for parking if you have to. And then just keep them open, right? So we have a lot of changes. Every year, the OHV community has to go through all these changes of maps that are approved for the year. And I understand that, as people, we tend to over abuse and then they have to adjust. But the constant change seems to be quite troublesome. And speaking of OHV community, one of the big news for this week, Bridgeport OHV backcountry route is open. It opened last week. So if you've never been down there, Bridgeport has this great access point into the wilderness and the Sonora Pass regions. So they got a big snowmobile trek that goes up Sonora Pass out of Bridgeport there. But I've never been actually out that far, so I'm only assume how beautiful it is based on how much hiking I've done in Hoover Wilderness. And Sonora Pass area is going to be great. But that route is open. So check that out. It's also a great place to go snowshoeing, cross-country skiing there as well in Bridgeport, which is, gets a beautiful amount of snow down there. It's always a good place to go explore. Love snowshoeing just south of there near Lee Vining and Lundy Canyon. Beautiful place to snowshoe. I've heard the same thing about Virginia Canyon, even though I haven't been there. And then obviously got Twin Lakes there. Couple hot springs in the Bridgeport area, which are popular. So you can look at those as well. So that's it for all kind of news going on. So let me talk about on this episode today. We're going to go jump a little snowshoeing. Okay. And I've been snowshoeing now for about 7 years. My mom bought me these huge powder snowshoes. I'm a big guy, so I got to stay in the snow. Those snowshoes have long been broken through and are trash. And so I've got some other snowshoes now, but one of the things that I really find joy in the summertime is, as hiking becomes more difficult for time to find trails and stay active, is snowshoeing is where I turn to. So I get my snowshoes in the car; they're with me all the time, I can snowshoe for about an hour and a half, 2 hours before I'm absolutely exhausted, and I'm pretty done for the day. So unlike hiking, where I might be gone all day, snowshoeing it tends to be go make a quick trip. I snowshoed up in Lassen Volcanic National Park. Down into Bridgeport. So that's kind of my window for snowshoeing. I probably don't drive all the way to Yosemite and Sequoia to go snowshoeing on my side. It's a little long ways for an hour trip, right? But Plumas County, Truckee, Lake Tahoe is obviously beautiful, especially the Tahoe Room Trail. If you get up on Tahoe Room Trail, it's just great. But really one of my favorite things about snowshoeing is that you don't really need a trail, right? You just need a spot to park your car safely. And as long as you have some sense of direction and can't get lost, right? You just walking and wandering through trees is what I love to do. So Hope Valley really fits me well because they do a really great job on 88 and 89 of plowing areas that are not necessarily the snow parks, but places where we can park our cars on the side of the road and just jump the bank and start walking, right? So, as you get into Hope Valley, some of my favorite things to do in Hope Valley for places, right? So there's Pickett Junction, which is where 88 and 89 meet. Okay, so let's talk about their first one. There's a parking spot right there. And if you park on the south side of the highway in the parking area, you can follow that road, which goes up to Burnside Lake. It's a long ways up there. But the road itself is a great snowshoe and cross-country ski destination. See lots of families with dogs out there. There is some sledding hills right there naturally built in, so you can snowshoe back and then sledding in the hills and the trees there. I personally have gone up probably about 2 miles up in there, and then on the way back down, I've cut across the mountain both ways. So I've gone across the mountain and come back in the backside of the meadow, and I've also gone down to the river and come back that way. So you can make some loops that way. It's a really great place. The other thing I do at 88 and 89 is actually turn on 89. If you go down about a mile, there's a cattle ground. There's an off-season cattle ground there. They usually have 1 or 2 parking spots available there in the wintertime. So if you get there early enough, you can actually get into Hope Valley from that direction. Has a little bit of a creek crossing early season, late season, and then you get up into the wildlife management region of Hope Valley up on the hill there. It's a great view, great place to snowshoe around some peaks, a lot of different terrain features in there. And then the other thing we do is we go up 89 all the way up into Luther Pass, which is a great access point for especially cross-country skiers up there. But if you want meadow hikes, like going along a big, long meadow, that's really great. There is a snowshoe trail that you can find there that goes out to this kind of viewpoint over Hope Valley. Don't know if that really has an official name. And then there's also the roadway that comes down to Hope Valley. You can snowshoe and do cross-country ski as well. Tip there, one of the things that we've done several times, if you actually cross the highway, be careful because it's a highway. You need to be careful crossing. There's no trail over there, but if you follow the canyon, you'll if you park there, you'll know. You see the canyon walls like this coming down, right? So if you hike up that canyon, if you're a sledder or snowboarder, this is your tip, right? Snowshoe up there, maybe a mile. There's some great natural slopes for sledding and snowboarding up there. We've done that with our family a couple times. It's absolutely gorgeous. The little trough in the valley fills up with a ton of powder, though, so be careful. Last time we were up there, we were probably up in belly button powder in that little trough, and it wasn't holding us up at all. So you sled down and just be in this big powder pile. So, anyways, that's got our tip there. But where we typically could go is we don't go up 89. We just keep on 88, just past the river. There's two pull offs, one on the left, one on the right past the river there. If you know the area well, it's the road that goes into Burnside Lake. Not Burnside Lake, Scotts Lake. And there's some camping area back in the summertime. You see people camping on the back edge back there. It's kind of a first come, first serve, dispersed camping area. That road makes a great snowshoe cross-country ski area. And then if you don't want to follow the road, you can turn and go further west. He's still on that side, and it goes out to a meadow down there close to the Blue Lakes Highway on the, I guess it'd be the north side of the road up there. So great places to go snowshoeing. You park on the east side of the road. If you go on the riverside, you can obviously snowshoe down the river and then out to the valley near Blue Lakes Highway there. There's obviously a snow park at Blue Lakes Highway, so that's where you have a permit. You can park there. That's where the snowmobiles all launch in the area. Lots of people that park there. A lot of overnight campers in the wintertime. You'll see in there they're allowed to camp there in their cars and do their winter adventures there. So that's very popular. And then if you continue up 88 towards Red Lake, before you get to the little cabin everybody takes photos in the fall of, there's a parking area where people go up to Stevens Peak. They'll climb Stevens Peak and ski down. On the other side, there's another meadow that kind of connects to Faith Valley, I think. I'm a little fuzzy on where the Faith Valley and Hope Valley connect, I think this one kind of connects with the Faith Valley on the roadside. You can hike back in there. And then, of course, if you continue up past the cabin, that's where Red's Lake at. There's a parking area there. And then on top of the mountain is Carson Pass. And we all know Carson Pass to Winnemucca Lake is one of the area's favorite snowshoe areas. It's a great place to take family and visitors in the area. And you want something that's packed down. You want to follow the trail. Going to be a lot more people there. Going to be a little more structured. Where the ones down in Hope Valley and stuff, I take family and friends there all the time, especially in the wintertime, because I find it safe. One, there's not a lot of slopes I got to worry about. So it's a lot of valley walking. Like this Saturday, avalanche danger was off it was really, really high. So I didn't want to take my family anywhere near slope. So we just stayed at the base in the valley, walked through the trees. It was beautiful. Spent 2 hours up there, and then we're able to come home. So those are my favorite places. So like when I say I'm going to go snowshoeing, that's where I go probably 80% of the time. The other 20% of the time I'm going to Tahoe, or I'm taking a trip like to Lassen or Plumas County, someplace bigger. Then I'm going to make a day trip out of it. As far as Tahoe Basin, Spooner Summit is a fantastic snowshoe area. You can go in every different direction. Seems like Spooner Summit. Obviously, Mount Rose Highway and the Tahoe Meadows in the Chickadee Ridge is extremely popular. You go around Lake Tahoe, Echo Basin, big snowshoe area, into Echo Lake, and then as far as Desolation Wilderness, the Eagle Lake area, if you find parking over there, that area is still quite a phenomenal place. Going from Eagle Falls into Eagle Lake in snow gets really icy. You probably don't want to go back there unless you have some type of spike or snowshoe on. It gets really icy on that trail, so please be careful back there. But those are my favorite places. I know once the snow falls in Tahoe, you can pretty much go everywhere again, as long as there's trees and a place for you to park safely. You can, kind of walk through where you want to go. You're not going to see as much wildlife in my experience in the wintertime. I do see trails. Like yesterday, I thought I saw, I don't know, it wasn't, I'm not even sure what print it was. It was really small, probably a raccoon print, really big raccoon I probably saw. But it had an interesting paw. I saw what I thought maybe was a fox print, but I can't really find any records of foxes up in Hope Valley. So it was probably just a small coyote that I was tracking, but I didn't see him, right? You obviously see the snow hares and everything else out there. So it's one of the reason I love snowshoeing. It's so quiet usually, even if snowmobilers are running by. I don't have a problem with that. They look like they're having so much fun. Matter of fact, if I had a snowmobile or a moon bike or whatever else, I'd be out there doing it too. So that is what I have for you today. That's the Sierra. We have a fun week coming up ahead of us. Although the temperatures look like they're going to be in the 40s all week, so I don't know where the snow is at. El Nino's not here yet. People keep asking me about snow year. We are way down from average at the moment in our snowpack in the Sierra. And the weather pattern up until maybe a week or two ago looked like we were kind of tracking along the same thing as 2018. If you remember 2018, the snow started like the last week of January and didn't stop until the end of March, and we collected like 400 inches of snow in that period of time. It was an amazing dump in February and March. So maybe that's coming, but looking at the forecast, it's kind of hit and miss. They kind of line up and then disperse. I know Oregon last week got nailed. They got quite a bit of snow, so it looked like maybe it went a little north of us last week. Although our ski resorts did receive some snow, right? So we got a good foot of snow on most ski resorts. So I know they're skiing and happy up there, but we need more for the water. So I hope you're having a great week wherever you're at, watching or listening to this. As you think about the Sierra this week and you think about winter play, drive safe. Obviously, get to your favorite ski resorts. If you're going snowshoeing, just find a place to park safe. Enjoy your trip. Send us a picture or two. Let us know where you're going and like to experience. I know our readers would love to see the user-generated content, what people are experiencing. So hit us up on social media, on Instagram at Sierra Rec Magazine. Obviously, you can leave us a message here on the podcast. Let us know how we're doing. And we sure hope you enjoy these things as we continue to develop our plan for 2024 and bring out, kind of life right now in the Sierra. That's us. And we look forward to more episodes with you next week. Have a great week wherever you're at, and we'll talk to you soon. Go explore.